Hey everyone, I'm Jason from EskimoTV.net, your home for icy and chilly movie reviews, and today we're going to take a look at the first reactions to the Avengers Endgame premiere. It showed in LA at 7 p.m. Monday night, and these will not have any spoilers. These are simply critics' first reactions to the film right after seeing it. Did they like it? Did they not? I have yet to see the movie, and so I will be posting my review, which once again will contain no spoilers, on Tuesday. And so if you would like to see my review, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button so you get a notification when that gets posted. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at what the critics are saying. We have Brian Tong, who says, well, that was amazing. So many emotional moments that make it special, and future continues to shine bright for the MCU. Go see it multiple times. Sounds like this movie's gonna be good to watch again and again, second, third viewing, that you'll get more out of it. It also sounds like this film has some heartfelt moments based off of this short initial reaction. Angie J. Hahn says, Avengers Endgame is an immensely satisfying payoff, not just to Infinity War, but to all the films that came before. This is why the MCU, and I say this as someone who was not especially enamored of Infinity War. And so that was Angie J. Hahn. So she liked it even though she wasn't that enamored by Avengers Infinity War. Perry Nemiroff says, Avengers Endgame is a lot. Don't know what that means, but it's a lot of something. Too much at times, but wow, the payoff is huge. Left me proud to have invested over a decade in a franchise that delivers an inspiring exploration of what it means to be family and a hero. It also has one of her favorite shots in the entire MCU. Eric Eisenberg says, this can't be understated. Avengers Endgame is everything you want it to be and more. I am absolutely floored. A perfect reflection on the last 11 years that pays off everything in the best way possible. Without question, my new favorite MCU film, and he's stunned. Wow. Once again, a lot of positive praise coming to this movie. Sean Gerber says, Avengers Endgame is every bit the masterpiece it deserves to be. It's extraordinary. It's a conclusion worthy of the greatest cinematic saga of all time. Congratulations to everyone who had anything to do with the film or the 21 films before it. I am emotionally spent. Aaron Couch says 90% of the Avengers Endgame footage that's officially been released is from the first 15 minutes. Other than the actual surprises, the biggest surprise to me was how funny it is. So you can expect some comedy going into this based on this reaction. Peter Scretta, I believe is how you say that, it says, imagine the best possible version of Avengers Endgame, and somehow the film still surpasses all expectations. I cried 5 or 6 times. It's the most emotional, most epic MCU film. A tribute to 10 years of this universe, and great fan service in this movie. So good. Jim Vejvada says, Avengers Endgame is a fantastic way to close out this 22 film saga. So it does sound like there's closure at the end of this movie. Great action, great dramatic moments, and one hell of a way to bring it all home. Truly moving and lots of awesome geek out moments. Make mine, Marvel. At Forever Mahesh Fan says, just came out of Avengers Endgame premiere. I'm at a loss for words. I witnessed cinematic history. I've never cried, laughed, and cheered so hard at a movie ever. Y'all are in for a heck of a ride. This movie will forever change the MCU and how cinematic universes are seen. So one big thing I'm feeling from this is that it is epic. Eric Davis says Avengers Endgame is a masterful, epic, a true culmination of 22 films that not only concludes the story, but expands upon it. You'll learn about the other movies while this one unfolds. If Infinity War is the brawn, Endgame is the brains. And wow, what an ending. Meckler at the movies says, bring the tissues. Man, another person saying this movie is emotional. Avengers Endgame is a tearjerker. From the opening moments that reckon with the fallout of the snap to a heartbreaking 20-minute cello solo that I gotta say Chris Evans absolutely nails. This movie is more emotional than any Marvel or any superhero film ever. That's a big statement right there. So this movie's gonna be emotional. Brandon Davis says, I just can't remember a cinematic experience like the one I just had with Avengers Endgame. Simply blown away. I feel like that movie was made for every Marvel fan everywhere. Anthony Bresnikon says, Avengers Endgame just ended. No spoiler, but some first thoughts. Epic is the word. Epic multiplied by a decade of emotion, excitement, and investment. This is the payoff. It left me with a full heart, but one I had some scars on it. Those are the strongest kind after all. Christian Harloff says, and I really like listening to Christian Harloff on Schmoes Know. He says, man, Avengers Endgame kicked my ass. It was an epic conclusion to 11 years of films. It had laughs, incredible action, an absolute emotional roller coaster. It was the series finale for these cast of characters that I had been hoping for. Congrats to all for pulling off the feature. Dennis from Collider says, Avengers Endgame is filled with so much comic book awesomeness that you may not be ready. Great blend of action, emotion, and humor while keeping the stakes high throughout. Truly an achievement in blockbuster filmmaking. Probably one of the most honest reviews I've read is from someone I actually really enjoy listening to. John Campia says, Avengers Endgame, a mediocre first 2 hours that's equal parts cool moments and problematic moments that ends with the final hour that's an absolute magnificent geek wet dream. Need to see it again tomorrow to solidify my thoughts. So it looks like this film has a lot that it gets people to think about. And finally, we have one more. This is probably the most not super positive review. It says, it's from Scott Mendelson, who says, so Avengers Endgame hits the required beats with plenty of fan service and most of it earned and plenty of wit. This is the part right here that makes me a little nervous. He says, it doesn't make a ton of sense and the action is a come down, but it's unquestionably fun. So it looks like he had a good time overall, but there may be some parts that required him to have a suspension of disbelief or just were not making sense. But other than that, looks like he had a fun time overall. So those are the first initial reactions to Avengers Endgame. I want to know, what do you think about this movie? When are you going to go see it? And what are you doing to avoid the spoilers? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this first reactions video, be sure to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe. That way you can check out my full review, which once again will be releasing Tuesday. And you can subscribe to the channel where you can for sure see more Icy and Chili EskimoTV reviews.